Hey everybody, we will be with you in just a couple of minutes. We're going to give people time to come in and join us, so stay tuned. And you can just... Hey everybody, it's Brooke with the Butter and Home, and welcome to my messy kitchen. It is Sweet Grown Alabama Day, and we are here to celebrate. Yesterday, I visited our friends at Durbin Farms Market in Clanton and got these beautiful fresh peaches, and we're going to do two recipes with these beautiful fresh Alabama peaches. Now, Durbin Farms Market has been on I-65 at exit 205 since 1961. They have so much more than peaches, but they probably have the biggest selection of fresh Alabama peaches that you're going to find anywhere. So if you're traveling I-65 and you go through Clanton, exit 205, make sure you give our friends at Durbin Farms Market a visit. And y'all, you can eat there. They have a cafe, so much to do. I could have spent all afternoon there, but I had to get back here and get ready for today. Sweet Grown Alabama Day is a fantastic opportunity here in the state of Alabama for all of us to support our wonderful farmers and producers. And there are a lot of different ways. I posted this morning Ellie with our Sweet Grown Alabama partners who is in Birmingham today, and she talked a lot about all the different things that you can do today to support our Alabama farmers. Not just today on Sweet Grown Alabama Day, but every day. You can visit farmers markets. You can visit places like Durbin Farms. And there are a lot of actual farmers who have their goods and products for sale, either in person or online, and sweetgrownalabama.org is a perfect resource to find that out. So we always, for the 7 years that we have been doing this at the Buttered Home, we have always encouraged you to shop local and eat fresh. And so the whole idea behind Sweet Grown Alabama and what they do to support our Alabama farmers and producers is to give that support and bring awareness to all of the things that they offer. So it's so much more than just going to the grocery store and buying something that's labeled local and fresh. And you're supporting families. Most of these farms in Alabama are ran by families, some generations old. And this helps them put food on the table. And 9 times out of 10, well no, 10 times out of 10, the products and goods and services and things that you get from them helps feed their family, and they feed their family the same things that you're purchasing from them. And I really love the analogy that Ellie used this morning. You're not funding somebody's 5th vacation home, you're funding simple things like their kids' backpacks for school. So it means a lot for you to support your Alabama farmers. And I know I have a ton of people who are not in the state of Alabama, but a lot of you travel through the state, and we ask that you visit these places and purchase from them so that you can help support sweet grown Alabama producers. And do it in your own home state too, because the whole theme is the same. Now, I've talked enough. I know there'll be somebody who's got something to say about that, but it is Sweet Grown Alabama Day, and that is why we're here. We're going to take these beautiful Clanton, Alabama peaches and make 2 really good recipes, both of which can be found on the website. But wait, don't go yet. When we're done, I'll drop links to both recipes in the comments, so be sure you look for those. And when we get done, just travel over to the website and you can use our search function and find them both. So let's get started, right? Okay, so the first recipe we're going to be making is going to be our fresh peach salsa. So I've done a couple of things ahead of time. I've taken 3 fresh peaches. Now I'm going to talk a second about the peach that you want for the salsa. You want it to be a little firm. So you don't want it to be too ripe. You want it to be a little firm to the touch. Now it's fine if you have peaches that are ripe. This will work fine. But with everything that we're going to add to this, they're going to soften and ripe. So we have 3 peaches that we've pitted, peeled, and chopped up into small little bite-sized bits. Then to that, I have a whole sweet red bell pepper that I've chopped about the same size, and about 1/2 cup of chopped red onion. Now, if you don't want to use red onion, you don't have to. Vidalia is real good. It's sweet. It's not too hot. But I love the red onion in this because it adds a lot of color and a little heat if you don't love the heat from too many jalapenos. So that's just something to think about. Now, we're going to get all those in. And I really like mixing this in a bowl with a cover. And you're going to see that why we do that in just a minute. All right, so now we are going to add in our garlic. And I've got 1 pretty good sized clove of garlic that I've peeled, and we're just going to grate that in. Whoops, and I just throw the whole thing in there. And look, be careful when you're doing this. Now you can chop it, but if you've got people who really don't like to bite into a piece of garlic, but they really like the flavor because it does add so much, then grating it is a really good option. And you're always going to have just a little bit left. I always save that in a plastic baggie, or either freeze it and save it for other recipes, or compound butter, because you can chop that up and then put it into butter, and it's just absolutely delicious. All right, so now we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of lime juice. If you don't have lime juice, you can use lemon in a pinch. We're going to add in about 1/4 teaspoon of salt and about 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And then here's my little twist on this salsa recipe. So one thing I wanted to mention is that all of these ingredients are the same if you're making tomato salsa. We have just swapped the tomatoes with peaches. So now I'm going to take some pickled jalapenos And I buy them sliced because we love these things. But you can put like the equivalent of a half pickled jalapeno or whole, just whatever your taste preference is. So I'm probably doing closer to a whole. And then my first little tip I'm going to give you are these produce bags. So I ended up with about 4 of these. And if you don't have gloves, you can just put that produce bag right across your hand like that. Especially when you're handling hot peppers, you want to make sure that your hands are covered. So I chopped everything else but this because I wanted to share the produce bag tip with you. So we just want to run our knife through those pickled jalapenos. And they add a little sweetness as well as a little heat. And then we're just going to pop those right in. But you know, a lot of people have gloves and that's fine, but if you don't, I mean, you're using these produce bags anyway, and then that keeps your hand nice and clean. And I'll just show you. I've got well, that was number 4, but I've got 3. So what I do is I take them and I just tie them in a knot, like a loose knot, and then I keep them in a drawer. Because, I mean, you never know where you're going to need a glove, and that way they don't fly away. So that's a nice little tip where you can recycle your produce bags and use them in place of gloves. So now we want to add in our cilantro, and here's my second tip for this recipe. Fresh cilantro is best. I don't grow it. I grow a lot of herbs, but cilantro is not one because it's not my favorite. But it really makes the salsa. So normally whenever you get those bundles, they come bundled like this. And the best way to keep them and keep them fresh is just to put them in a glass with a little water, and then take a zip top bag and just make a little greenhouse over the top. That way you don't get drying and browning. And a lot of the water that evaporates from the glass goes up to help keep it nice and moist. I bought these 3 days ago, and just look how pretty and fresh they still look. So these will live in my refrigerator for a few days. And then when you use them, you can just wipe off a little excess water. So we want probably about 1/4 of a cup, and the easiest way to fool with cilantro is just to take your knife, and I leave it in the bundle, and I just shave off just a little bit of those leaves, because they're very fine and very, like they'll fly all over the place. All right, so I'm going to put this back in my jar, and that'll go back in the fridge just like that. Now, one of the things about cilantro is it's better if you don't have this rib in there. So by shaving that off, that allows us to not have to go through and pick through as many. We can just go through and pick out the large pieces of that stem and take the leaves off of it. That saves you time, makes things more efficient in the kitchen, and leaves you with a better flavor. So we get all those kind of woody stems out of there, and we're left with mostly just the cilantro. So now we just want to run our knife through this, because cilantro, like, you either love it or you hate it. Now, unless you're me and you kind of have this in-between thing. Like, I don't hate it. I do genetically get that soapy taste. But I find that chopping it real fine like this helps kind of diminish some of that soapy flavor. And also, all of the flavor that we've got in here, when this cilantro is mixed with the sweetness of the peaches, it kind of diminishes some of that soapy flavor. But if you just absolutely hate cilantro, you can use a little basil or you can use fresh mint. Either way, you do what works for you. It's not required, although I do believe that it really does add to the flavor of the salsa. So in my mind, I would say, well, you know what, I'm just gonna try it. So now we just wanna give this all a nice toss. And you can dirty up a spoon if you want to, but I'm just gonna shake it. And would you just look how beautiful that is? I mean, and it's ready to go. You can eat it right now if you want to. It's like so many other dressings and sides. It's better the longer it sits. And we have one more recipe that we're gonna put together. So we're gonna let this sit a little while before we serve it, just so that you can get the full effect with us on how good it is. And then we'll kind of serve that up in a minute, but we're gonna let it sit, kind of marinate. So now we're going to move on to our next recipe. And this recipe has been on the Buttered Home since probably 2018. And it's probably one of the most versatile recipes that I have, and it's for fruit hand pies, okay? So today we're making peach hand pies, and it's really simple. I'm going to give you a lot of really simple options on how you can do this and give you a lot of nice tips and tricks. So don't be intimidated by this. We have a fantastic recipe for pie crust. And these hand pies use our pie crust recipe, which is really simple and easy to do. We also, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we also tell you it's fine to use store-bought pie crust for this. So I've done a couple of things ahead of time here, but I wanted to show you what I did to prepare. So I am using about a 4-inch biscuit cutter. How would you like a biscuit that big? But I got this set that goes from about 6 inches to about a 1/2 inch. It's great. You can find them on Amazon, on my Amazon store. But I'm using just the 4 to 4.6 inch biscuit cutter because I'm also putting peaches in here, so I want maximum amount of peaches in here. So the next blasphemous thing is that I'm going to tell you is that when I'm working with my pie crust, I like to do it when it's a little bit room temperature. Ooh, did I just say that? Yes, I did. A little room temperature. So you can make your pie crust up ahead of time or buy it at the store and just let it sit out a little bit just so you can squeeze it, just like that. So I have these sheets of parchment paper, and I do this ahead of time, and I put them in between 2 pieces of this parchment, and then after I'm done getting them the way I want them, I put them in the fridge so that they can chill. So you're still using chilled pie crust, you're just working with it ahead of time. So the easiest way to do this and to get them ready is to not roll out one big pie crust. I like to bring my pie crust together in a ball, and then I will take it. Oh yeah, I'm doing lots of blasphemous things today. And I will just take a bit of it and I roll it out. And get it about the size I want. And you know what? I miscalculated. I kept enough to do 1, not 2. So I get it and then I just roll it out. And you want to roll it out bigger than what you're cutting it because it just makes it a lot easier. But see, when it's a little room temp like this, it stays together, it doesn't crack, it doesn't bust. It's a lot easier to roll out. You notice I'm rolling it out with no flour on my rolling pin, but you just want your hand pie crust to be about 1/4 of an inch thick. because you want them to be heavy enough to hold that syrup in, but you want them to be thin enough that you get all those nice pie layers. Now, if it's irregular like this when you cut it, one of the things that you can do is just, you've already got your shape, just take your rolling pin and just make it a little bit bigger, which flattens it out a little bit more, but it's okay. So I've done that ahead of time and then just layered them inside that nice parchment paper, and then you can chill them and bring them back to a cool temperature. Now to a parchment lined pan, I'm going to add in the ones that I've already done and just get them on the surface, because we're going to prep those and get those ready for our peaches. And now all I did is I'm using fresh peaches that I macerated with a little sugar and cinnamon. And I didn't cook these. Now certainly you can cook them down, but when you macerate them like this, they often get soft enough to be able to use for things like hand pies, and you keep that snappiness of the peach, but it's not like canned pie, things like that. So I always love doing fresh fruit in these hand pies, but you don't have to. In the wintertime when you don't have access, you can certainly use like natural pie fillings. Those are good, but this is a great thing to make this time of year whenever you can get so many fresh fruit. So I'm just going to put just about a tablespoon or two of the peaches in the center. Trying not to get a lot of that juice. One of the biggest questions I get when hand pies is, how do you keep them from weeping or juice coming out? Well, you just can't. I mean, even if you're using like canned pie fillings, you're still going to have some weeping, but I promise you it's not that big of a deal, because whenever the pies weep, they get kind of caramelized, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, I really like it that way. All right, over here I have 1 egg that I've just whipped up with just probably a tablespoon of water for our egg wash. And now don't be afraid of these. And I got my cousin Joyce here helping me today. Can you see everything good? You can? Okay. So we're going to take that egg wash, and I'm just going to go around the edges. Now you could just use water right here if you wanted to, but I mean, this egg wash, 1 egg and a tablespoon of water makes a lot. So why not use it here to help seal your edges too? And it keeps the edges nice and golden brown. There's nothing I hate more than waste in the kitchen, so sometimes throwing out an egg wash kind of makes me a little sad. So we use it here too. So I'm going to kind of rough handle this and just take it and keeping my peaches in with my fingers. This is a messy job, y'all, but it's worth it. Then I'm just going to seal the edges a little with my fingers, and you have a nice pretty crescent shaped pocket. And I'm going to do that on all 5 that I've got right here. Now, if you use our recipe and make your own pie crust, you're probably going to want to double it, because who wants to just make 5 to 8 of these things, because they'll get gone pretty fast. So I always try to make up pie crust and keep them in the freezer, and then you can thaw them out like the night before you think you'll need them. And I use probably 2 when I make these, because I make a double portion. So we're just going to slide those edges together with our fingers. And I'm gonna get them kind of spaced out. And see, they're weeping and the edges are sealed, but I didn't do a good job of keeping that juice out of there. But I can just promise you it just does not matter. I mean, we're not going for beauty shots on this food, right? We're going for eating it. So while you want it lovely to look at, and it will be, realism in the kitchen makes all the difference in the world. So now I'm just going to take a fork and I'm going to firmly close those edges and try to get out any of that syrup that I can. But you want to be a little heavy-handed with this. You don't want it to go all the way through, but you do want it to make sure that we've got a good seal on those edges. Get all those done. And then I have my oven preheated to 375 degrees, and we're gonna put the egg wash on, we're gonna vent them, put the egg wash on the top again, and then we're gonna bake these at 375 for 20 to 30 minutes. Now I have a smaller oven, so mine get done usually on the 20 to 25 minute mark, but yours may take a little bit longer or a little bit less. So I always tell you guys, if it's got a 20 to 30 minute cook time, start checking it at 15, half of what the longest cook time is. And then I just take the same fork and gently just poke it all the way through until I can feel the peach filling to vent it. And look, that one's cracked a little bit, but we can recover from that. We can just seal it together. And then we just cover them with our egg wash pretty liberally because we want them to turn a nice golden brown. And you can fry these, that's fine. To me, they're better baked. And that's what we do, is we bake them just mainly because, you know, consuming so much fried food is not the greatest idea. Number two, it's cooler in my kitchen in the summer if I use the oven versus frying anything. So that's what we do. So these go in 375 for about 20 to 25 minutes. Now I've got some that are done, and look how perfect and pretty they are. You can see where they whipped out of the hole, the vent holes that I put in there, and they got a little weeping on the end. But look at those bottoms. Even the ones that have the caramelization around the edges that they whipped, they're still fine, and they got that nice flaky, beautiful crust. And then now we're going to make our glaze, and this is optional. I got probably about 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar here, and I'm just going to add about a teaspoon at a time to that powdered sugar just to get it the consistency that I want it. You want it drizzable. If that's even a word. You want it where you can drizzle it. You don't want it thick. So we're going to get it all mixed in. And you can add vanilla to this if you want to. You can even add some grated frozen peach to make it pretty, some mint, all kind of things, flavor components you can add to this. But what you're looking for is you just want to lift your fork like that and see that it drizzles. If you've got it too thin, add more powdered sugar. If you've got it too thick, add more milk, water, or half and half. So we're just going to take this and see why we want it drizzable. My stupid made up word. Because you want to make it pretty. I mean, they look like a nice little pastry. And you know what's in it because you made it. Now you can buy things that look like this that at bakeries, but you're just never sure about what's in it. But if you buy these or any baked goods like this at usually a local farmer's market or a place like Durbin Farms, you can just about guarantee that they have a kitchen there, that all this stuff is fresh made. So it's kind of the same thing, but for me, staying at home out of the heat of the day is just very, very nice thing to do. Now, let's take a look at how pretty both of those are. So we have an appetizer and we have a dessert. We can come back now. All right, so we're gonna give them a taste. I've got this beautiful salsa, so I'm gonna start with it and then we'll move to the hand pies. Savory before sweet, or sweet and savory before sweet. So I've got some chips here. And like I said, this is better the longer it sits, but you can totally make it and then it's ready to go. So I want to get a little bit of everything in there. All right, I gotta pass these over to my camera operator so she can try it. So you get all of the flavors together and separately. And having the peaches in place of the tomato adds a sweetness and a slightly different texture. A lot of times whenever you make salsa, it kind of can be kind of runny sometimes. And a lot of people, in order to try to kind of get their salsa to be a little smoother, they'll puree those tomatoes, and that's fine. I love salsa like that too. But if you want all of those beautiful, bright flavors of summer, I mean, I want to see them. So having them chunked up like that is just fantastic. And this stuff goes fast, and you can make this today and eat it at lunch, like when we get through. It's beautiful, fantastic, and easy. And now let's try the hand pies. Let's see, I'm gonna get the smallest one. Let's see. I'm a sugar addict, right? Y'all know this, I've told y'all that before. This is perfect. Joyce, can you put me overhead? I want to show them one thing. I forgot about this. So you got all those pie crust layers in there. Look at that. Look at that. It's beautiful. And then you got that nice peach filling. It's soft. It's layered. And the peaches are a perfect consistency. Okay, come back. Perfect consistency. So you've got two different textures in there. And the peaches still have a little snap to them. They're fantastic. Chip hung in my throat. What else doing a live? I mean, how do you know she's live? She gets choked on live Facebook and YouTube. How about that? Okay, because I didn't chew my food because I was talking with my mouth full. My mama would be mad at me. But y'all, these are perfect. And you can, I mean, you can do this with all kind of seasonal fruit, not just peaches. I think they're best with peaches, but that's just my preference. These will go fast, so when you make them, plan to make them and make a lot of them. Those peaches macerated like that will keep in the refrigerator in their own syrup for up to a week, so you can make these 2 or 3 times. They're fantastic. I'm going to pass these off to my camera and we'll keep mine and let her try them too. So both of these recipes, well, the salsa is not published yet. When we get done, I'm going to publish it. But both of these can be found at thebutteredhome.com. We would absolutely love for you to visit us over there. We work real hard on our website and to bring you fresh, local ingredients cooked in a way where you can feel good about what your family's eating. And we promote all things Sweet Grown Alabama so that you can also feel good about helping a local farmer in your area as well. All of our recipes are there. They're free to you with a printable recipe card. Make sure that you're following us on all of our social channels. We're on TikTok every once in a while. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We have a lot of fun. You never know when we're going to come live like this and me get choked or make an absolute fool out of myself, because I want you to see a real kitchen, because your kitchen is not polished and neither is mine. So there's no way you're going to ever see anything polished on here. And we're okay with that. So make sure you're following us on all of our social channels, because we have a real good time and we show you, and that's why I call it my messy kitchen. And then that's why you see it that way. Also, make sure that you're following and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. All of our videos can be found there. And we also go live on YouTube. So that's a whole nother great experience. And if you can't find something on all of our other social channels, we have nice, neat playlists over at YouTube, and you can find anything you want by course or in order of, or search, all of those things. So we have really enjoyed sharing our peach recipes with you guys today. And I got quite a few left. Hadn't decided what I'm going to do with those yet, but you can bet it'll be delicious, and it'll make me feel good that I have supported an Alabama farmer and an Alabama Farmers Market. And that's the whole point of today, is to support the people in your community and in your state, and have really fresh, good produce and wares on your table to help them put food on their table. And we are honored to be a part of that. So from all of us here, which today is me and Joyce, at the Buttered Home to your home, we sure love y'all. Bye.